we're back. Hi,
Hello.
and welcome to Story Time with Nani. I think Teddy's going to take it from here.
No, I was supposed to take it with Welcome to Story Time with Nani.
Well,
I am Teddy, your hostess, or whatever. Anyways, so Nani's going to tell a bunch of stories. I picked the stories. I'm very proud of these stories because I think they're hilarious. So, here we go. Story number 1. That time Nani almost killed a guy over Never Have I Ever.
that's a wonderful story. For this, we are going to have to take a trip back into my childhood, way, way, way back. Way back. I'm like in 5th grade or so. What?
If you have to go way, way back, you should play that twice.
Oh, yes, we need to go back further. Alright, so I'm in like 5th grade, maybe, and there's this guy, his name's Michael Kessler. The story of how we met is a very violent, funny-ass story, but that's off topic. So, we used to play Never Have I Ever, which, for those of you who have never played the game, it's where you have one person who starts by saying, like, never have I ever, insert thing that they've never done. We went to a very small Christian private school, so ours are very innocent. Are we still going? We are still going. I'm going to repeat that because I think we blinked off for a second. So, if your butt was not firmly on the desk, someone could just come along, rip you off your desk, and claim it as theirs. Michael Kessler and I are hyper-competitive beings, and
Apparently very violent.
slightly violent. I do not have anger issues, cough, cough, nudge, nudge. Anyways, so, this all happened in one day, mind you. So, I am stuck in the middle, and I do not like being stuck in the middle because I don't like talking all that much, believe it or not. Like, I am actually very shy in person around people that I don't like or know. Anyways,
Which is why when doing the radio show, she must have someone she knows.
Yeah.
And or talks to.
I need a co-host, otherwise I'm just like, whatever. Anyways, so, we're playing Never Have I Ever, and I go running to get a desk, and Michael Kessler is partially on the desk, but not quite on the desk, so I grab him by the waist like a sack of potatoes because he's a tall-ass, like, string beanie light thing, right? And I throw his ass on the floor, and while scrambling onto the desk, I, like, kick him in the face like 3 times while saying, "Stay down there, Michael! You stay down there!" And he did, right? And then, there was a different incident in the same game, so it's the same day, same instance of playing this game, right? Where, we are both, like, half on the desk, half not on the desk, right, at the same time. And we got into a round of punchies very violently, and I violently shoved his ass off the desk. And went like, ha, it's my desk, right? And Michael was not pleased with this. So he grabs the desk by its legs, and he flips it upside down with me on top of it. So I fall off, and I smack my head on the ground, right? And I am pissed, right? So, I pick up the chair, and I, like, chuck it at him violently, and it smacks him, like, full face. And, pretty much, we got into a throwing shit bitch fight over Never Have I Ever, and my teacher broke it up, mind you. Not because we were trying to murder each other, right? Not because we were trying to do bodily harm to each other or because we were getting way out of hand, but because we might break the desk or the chair or something else in the classroom. And this is not okay. Breaking school property is not okay. Breaking your classmates is what the fuck ever, right? Now, because we hadn't actually murdered, and because when she asked us what the hell we were doing, we formally confessed that we were trying to abuse each other and, like, pummel each other into pulp because it's my desk, goddammit, my desk, right? She concluded that we hadn't really, like, sinned. And because we hadn't really sinned, the principal never talked to her. Our parents never got called. Nobody ever knew that I tried to murder Michael Kessler with a desk and a chair. We just got into a fist fight, and it's kind of hysterical now. For like the next week, he was running around toting his desk chair bruise and talking about how amazing it was because he swore to God that it looked like a little cross. And I'm like, no, Michael, no, it doesn't. And that is the story of the time I almost killed a kid over Never Have I Ever.
Okay. Well, after knowing that she's almost a murderer, this next one should make it even better. She kidnapped someone. So this one is the time Nani stole a car, kidnapped two toddlers, and went to Burger King.
Yay! All right. So, we need to wind back even further into my childhood, so... Further. No, really, you have no idea how young I was when this happened. Alright, so I am, like, really young, 5, maybe 6-ish, however old I was when the very first Fast and Furious movie came out. I saw Fast and Furious. I loved Fast and Furious. Letty is a god, okay? Like, I idolized her. I wanted to become her. And when I was a child, I took movies way too seriously. Way too seriously. Like, I would pick a character, I'd be like, I love this character. And with other children just, kind of dress up as their favorite character and just kind of, like, pretend to be them, I was like, it is now my life mission to become this person. I am this person. Shut up about it, right? So, me being Letty turned into me, one, wearing short shorts and tank tops like Letty did. Like, I cut off my shorts to make them look like Letty, right? And my brother had one of those awesome little, like, toy cars that you give toddlers that they can sit in and drive around the yard, right? And, my one brother, his was the cool one because he had the one that was actually modeled after a real car. It was modeled after a Silverado, which is a truck, and it was badass looking. And it was more Letty than my Barbie car was, so I always drove his car. And, I also used to drive around my grandma's neighborhood in the tiny car with a squirt gun shooting people I didn't like. It's a long story, but I really thought that I was going to be at a Fast Furious style movie, and this was my life mission. So, one day, my grandma was inside, and normally she watched us through the window, but I think she got up to go to the bathroom or some shit. And my baby brothers were outside, like, playing with worms or whatever the fuck toddler people are doing. And I am driving around in the car, and I decide to myself, I'm going to go to Burger King. Right? So
lunchtime.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I want to go to Burger King. I want way too much food. So I drive up to my brothers and I'm like, get in, boys. We're going to Burger King. And my tiny brothers who are toddlers and, just barely toddling around are like, yeah, sure. But they're like at that age where they are just old enough to understand how to press a pedal and drive a tiny car around, but they don't really turn or anything. They just kind of run into things repetitively because they are like babies, right? So I throw them both in the back because this thing, it had like front seats and back seats. Mm-hmm. And you could only fit in the back seat if you were a fucking toddler, which they were. So I throw them both in the back seat. And without telling anybody, like we don't tell the adults, I don't tell my grandma, I just pack in because Letty doesn't have permission. Letty just does, right? So I just roll out of my grandma's driveway and go driving down, not the sidewalk, but the actual street to Burger King, because my grandma was like up on kind of a hill. You drive down a bit, and then take like a right, and then drive down some more, and there's Burger King. So I drive down to Burger King. Mind you, Burger King, it's the intersection of a neighborhood street and a main road that isn't so busy now because like that whole area has died and become Ghettosville. But at the time, was fucking busy, right? Like all the time. Like all the time, right? So, I just kind of segue around, like, right next to the main road, and I drive up into Burger King. And, I am tiny, but I know to go through the drive-thru because my grandma, she had a ton of foster kids, and we went to Burger King quite a lot, and she would order food for, like, her 6 teenage foster kids, plus whoever else was in the house, often me and my siblings, right? So there's like a ton of people, so she'd order like 20 burgers because, whatever. So I roll through there, and I just repeat my grandma's order. So I'm like, can I get like 20 burgers and like a bunch of soda and like ice cream? Like, boys, you want ice cream? And they're like, ice cream. So I'm like, and like 5 of the biggest ice creams you have, right? So she's like, okay. She repeats back my order and tells me some ridiculous amount of money that it's going to be. And because I probably ordered more than my grandma ever ordered. And I'm like, all right. And I pulled through in my tiny car. I have no idea what the other people in this drive-thru were thinking, but I pulled through in my tiny car up to the drive-thru window, which I am much too short to reach up to. And the lady kind of looks out, looks around, looks confused, looks down, sees me. Mind you, this is the same lady that at the time had worked there for like eons. And she knows me because I'm always sitting up front with my grandma. And she's like, Nani? Is that you? And I'm like, I want my burgers. And I'm just sitting there like a gangster with my water gun all slouched in the seat like, give me my burgers, homie. Right? And she goes, does your grandmother know that you're at Burger King? And I'm like, why does my grandma need to know I'm at Burger King? And she's like, you can't afford this, and I'm going to call your grandma. Right? So, of course, I did the only logical thing that I could possibly think of at this moment, which was floor my tiny gas pedal and try to book it out of there. Mind you, this is a toddler car. It goes like 2 miles per hour. So I inch out of the drive-thru lane, and I go to try to peel it back to my grandma's house because I am escaping the authorities now. Only, again, this car goes 2 miles per hour, and my grandma's house is on a hill. I could not get up the hill. When my grandma found me, she was driving down to the Burger King, and I was still trying to drive up the hill, and we kept sliding back because we didn't have enough power to get up the hill. And my little brothers think it's just the best thing ever. They're both in the back seat, throwing their arms in the air, going, whee! Every time we slide down the hill, while I am using unsavory language that I learned from my deadbeat father in Fast and Furious, and which probably shouldn't come out of a 6-year-old's mouth. Anyways, my grandma, being the person that she was, instead of yelling at me or punishing me, right, took my tiny car, put it in the back of her big-ass van, put me in there, put my brothers in their little booster seats, and we went through the drive-thru of Burger King and just picked up the food which she paid for. So I stole a car, kidnapped 2 toddlers, went to Burger King, couldn't pay for it, tried to leave, and my grandma just kind of bought me a ridiculous amount of ice cream, soda, and burgers for, like, reasons, because she's a saint. And then told me that she would prefer that I not drive to Burger King without her. And I told her I wasn't going to on the grounds that my car was lame.
So, your reasons were the car was lame.
The car was lame. It couldn't get back up the hill. And don't you know, my brothers are so little, they don't even remember that this happened. So that was the time I stole a car, kidnapped 2 toddlers, and went to Burger King. That is the vlog. There we go.
Okay. Well, now that we know she's a kidnapper and near murderer, how about a cult leader?
Yes. All right.
This is the time that Nani formed a cult and didn't know about it.
Yes.
About the cult.
All right. So for this, we actually skip forward in time. So we're gonna wind the tape in the other direction. Boom! Alright, so I am in high school. I am maybe junior, senior year-ish, whatever year it was that I think it's senior, whatever year it was that I am taking my very first programming class, I am having a blast. I was working on this choose-your-own-adventure game that had a lot of lore and, like, it was text-based, and it'd give you options. You would put in, like, 1, 2, or 3, and you pick your options. But I was mostly focusing on the storyline, not so much the game mechanics. But there was, like, deities and culture, and it was solid, right? I lost the flash drive for, like, forever, and then when I found it, that game's not even on there, so I'm pissed. Anyways, point being, me and my friend who sat next to me, Katie, we had been kind of bouncing ideas back and forth, and pretty much in my game, we had deified ourselves, where I am Nani, the all-awesome overruler of all things in the entire world, because I am Nani. And I am fabulous, and you bastards just don't seem to understand how great I am, right? Whereas Katie, being like a sister to me, was Katie, who is second only to Nani, right? And rules on all of Nani's minions, and we have like this whole lore and story thing. Well, so this is just kind of a thing that's going on. And I never really thought anything of it outside of my lovely classroom, because I am a writer and I do stories, and now I'm a writer making a game. So obviously, the story's fucking solid, because I am a writer, right? I was leaving the desktop publishing room because I also took a graphic design class that year, going towards my genre room because